Today I'm going to be swatching for the first time this beautiful set of Japanese gansai watercolour paints. These came from Choosing Keeping in London, so I'll tell you a little bit more about that store later in this video. But yeah, they were actually a gift from Dominic this Christmas, and ever since then I've been really longing to swatch these, but I didn't want to do it until I actually had the time to film it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be swatching each individual colour, and then I'm going to be chatting to you a bit about my thoughts on these paints in general, and also this particular colour selection. So the very first paint I swatched was a lovely dark brown. It's obviously perfect for winter trees and branches when you're painting the bare winter trees, so just a good basic colour. I can see why they included that in this palette. The second colour I was really in love with. You can't really see at this stage, you can just about there when I start taking off some of the colour, but it's actually a really dark blue, so it's like a really inky blue, almost like an indigo. So yeah, that's going to be great for me because that's a colour I use a lot in my work. Already I was kind of thinking this is a very interesting selection of colours they've chosen for this palette. So this is the winter palette, and Choosing Keeping do a selection of palettes for all four of the seasons, the different seasons. I chose winter because I just felt like this one is much more me. Those of you who know my work will know that I love to paint autumn and winter landscapes, and I often favour a winter colour palette, so this one seemed perfect for me. So what I'm trying to show you here is the colour on the end of that row. It's white, so it's not showing up very well on camera. When we move on here to this gorgeous greenish blue, you'll notice as it dries the pigments separate a little bit and it just has a really beautiful quality to it. I must say that I just love these paints. I'm a big fan of them because I work in both watercolour and gouache. I like the properties of both paints, and these fall somewhere in between the two, so they can be used like watercolour if you use more water with them. They can also be used in a more opaque way, so that makes them a little bit more like gouache, and I really like the versatility of them. I love the fact that this is such a cool toned colour palette. It's right up my street. By the way, I wanted to tell you a little bit more about Choosing Keeping. They're a great independent stationery and art supply shop in London. Obviously at the moment here in the UK we are locked down, so their physical shop isn't open at the moment, but every time I've ordered from them it's been online. I would love to go to London someday and actually go to visit the shop, but yeah, that will have to wait until after COVID. Their packages always arrive so beautifully wrapped, and I actually made an art haul video a couple of months or so ago where I shared my first choosing keeping order, and I've since placed another one, so that video will be coming up soon. 2020 into 2021 has been the year of buying art materials for me. I think we might talk more about that in another video and just stay focused on the paints in this one. But yeah, I'd really recommend shopping at Choosing Keeping. They're a beautiful store and they stock such unique items as well. But yeah, I'm enjoying the coolness of this colour palette. I love the greens as well. I'm kind of looking at that second green, the darker one, and to me, I can imagine that could be used for holly leaves or evergreen trees. I like the inclusion of the bright red for winter berries. I think a lot of thought has gone into this palette and getting the balance of colours right for winter. It's interesting that they chose to include 2 yellow ochres in this palette. They're very similar, but they do differ slightly. I would say overall it's a very well balanced palette. There are also 2 iridescent colours. Now I don't usually use iridescent paints, but these ones I think look really interesting because I think they've been included to give an impression of frost or ice, because one of them is a white iridescent paint and the other is a very pale blue. You'll get to see these a little bit more clearly at the end. Can I just say that I really enjoy swatching paint in circles now. I didn't used to do it like this, and it is a little bit tricky because obviously it's quite difficult to paint a perfect circle, and these aren't perfect, but they're kind of perfect in their imperfection, and I love the slight variance in them. But yeah, it's a fun way of swatching paint. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that little swatching session. I can't wait to try these out in an actual painting, and I'll be sharing that on my channel when I do so. So stay tuned. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you again soon.